South African National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Sibiya, is fighting back against the National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula's notice of suspension against him. Sibiya's legal team says the suspension is unlawful and riddled with irregularities. They are demanding it be withdrawn with immediate effect. Sibiya's lawyers are also pushing to stop parallel proceedings against him. This application is scheduled to be heard on the 26th of August. Sibiya's lawyers warn they may seek court orders against the process and even pursue costs against Masemula. The dissolved South African Tourism Board has rejected Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille's claims of poor governance and unlawful conduct. Board member Lawson Naidu says the minister is mistaken in alleging that the board held irregular meetings on the 1st of August. De Lille dissolved the South African Tourism Board with immediate effect on Wednesday. The move follows governance concerns and questions around the board's leadership. But Naidu insists that the board was instead addressing dysfunction within South African tourism, including the procurement irregularities and the suspension of the company's secretary and chief marketing officer before it was disbanded. Civil society group ALTA has urged the ex-board members to challenge the minister's decision in court.
The fact that the minister is mistaken. There was no board meeting on the 1st of August, and that was the basis on which the minister informed us a couple of days ago that the board is being dissolved because we allegedly had an irregular board meeting on the 1st of August. And I emphasize that there was no such board meeting. So the minister is mistaken in that regard. Secondly, what did happen was that the board passed a resolution on the 1st of August, which it is fully entitled to do in terms of the Tourism Act, that gives the board, so long as it is quorate, the power to pass a resolution by a round-robin resolution, which we did unanimously. And it seems that the minister has changed her mind from the initial letter she sent to us last week, where she asked us to provide reasons why the board should not be dissolved on the basis of the contents of that resolution that was taken. We provided detailed responses to the minister last week, and despite that, she went ahead and dissolved the board on the basis of a different issue now, that this so-called meeting that was held on the 1st was irregular. So there is no governance failure by the board of SAT. All that we were seeking to do was to execute our fiduciary duties, and to say that in the absence of a chairperson, the board cannot act is simply an absurdity. Our fiduciary duties remain, and we were acting in order to execute those fiduciary.
Over 5 million rand worth of drugs have been destroyed in the country over the past 3 years. This includes Mandrex, cocaine, heroin, and unregistered pharmaceutical products. The operation is part of an ongoing nationwide crackdown on organized crimes and drug syndicates. Police Commissioner Fani Masemula says it's more than just numbers. He says they represent a real step in protecting communities and dismantling criminal networks.
This year, in March, we destroyed drugs with a street value of 340 million. Added to today's destruction, it brings the total to 5.3 billion worth of drugs destroyed in just the past 3 years. Amongst them are Mandrex, cocaine, heroin, narcotics, unregistered pharmaceutical products, the very substance that fuel addiction and empower criminal syndicate. Allow me to highlight a few examples of what is being destroyed here today. We have Mandrex worth 285 million seized in Emandeni in KwaZulu-Natal in 2022. Also Mandrex worth 50 million concealed in false compartment in a truck intercepted at Ramatlabama, port of entry in 2022, en route to Johannesburg from one of the African countries. Cocaine to the value of 6 million, seized between 2016 and 2022 at OR Tambo International Airport, where 6 drug traffickers were arrested, each sentenced between 3 and 10 years imprisonment.
Over a dozen people were shot dead over the weekend. another shocking statistic from the city of Cape Town, where an average of 16 murders are recorded every week. With the situation at boiling point, Western Cape Police Commissioner Sibiya is putting 4 areas on the Cape Flats under lockdown. Criminologist Dr. Simon Howell from the University of Cape Town says illegal firearms continue to flood into communities, and until police get a handle of this circulation, these crimes will continue. Howell adds that resource deployment within the SAPS and the way policing is carried out remains a key concern. He argues that policing alone won't fix the crisis and that there must be efforts to move beyond policing-only response.
Firearms that have been brought in, that have been brought from elsewhere, and until they get a handle on that, I think that it makes it possible for these things to occur. There's also concerns around the deployment of resources within SAPS, and the way in which policing has been conducted in various communities in the city, so as that there are quite wide discrepancies between crime in certain places versus in other places. And then, of course, we also have, our concern with entrenched gang networks and the long-standing socioeconomic marginalization of many communities in which many of these instances occur.